Hi guys.
Hello.
By the way, I'm just going to say I talk fast at better times and I'm nervous, so hopefully you'll understand what I'm saying. Right. So some of you may know me as Bubs, and others may know me as the niece that nearly gave Chris a few heart attacks over the years. But no matter big how small they were, I got myself into, he was always there right by my side. He was, without a doubt, one of the funniest and most inappropriate men I've had the pleasure of knowing, and that's exactly what made him so special. He had a way of making you laugh when you needed it the most, and probably when you shouldn't have been laughing at all. He was someone I truly looked up to and inspired, someone I would run to with new business ideas, and if you know Chris, you know he loved nothing more than an excuse to grab a tea or something a bit stronger and have a meeting. So the fact that I seemed to come up with a new business venture every 3 months kept him very insane. But all jokes aside, he was a brilliant man to me. He looked after me, supported me, and in so many ways, he was like a second dad. And more than that, he was like a granddad to my 2 daughters, Primrose and Poppy, who absolutely adored him more than he will ever know. He brought so much love, laughter and comfort into our lives. And the truth is, things will never feel quite the same without him. We will miss him deeply every single day. We love you, Uncle Chrissy. Thank you.
Right, I'll try and follow that without crying. Well done, Bubs. This is a poem that was written by a dear friend of mine, personally for Chris. I'm no poet, so it may not come out as it should do, but I'll try my best. Today we gather, not in sorrow alone, but in the warmth of a life so brightly sown. I haven't got my glasses on. Has anyone got any glasses? They're 2.5 by any chance. No, they're only 1.5. They might help. Yeah, that helps. I can't see now. Right, let me start again. Today we gather, not in sorrow alone, but in the warmth of a life so brightly sown. In laughter that lingers, in stories we told, in the quiet soft glow of a spirit so bold. For love does not vanish, it changes its place. It lives in each smile, in each familiar face. In the rustle of leaves, in the song in the air. In all of these moments, we feel Chris is there. He walks in the sunlight we cannot yet see, just beyond time as Chris used to be. And though we may miss him with each passing day, his love, like a compass, still shows us the way. So let us remember, with hearts open wide, not only the loss, but the love he supplied. For a life filled with meaning can never depart. It keeps right on beating on each of our hearts. And maybe, just maybe, if we listen a while, we'll hear his words echo, rejoice in his smile. Thank you.
Hello everyone, for those of you who don't know me, my name is William, Chris's better looking son. I think it is only right that I start by thanking people, all of you who have reached out to my mum, brother and I, not just to offer your condolences, but your help has been overwhelmingly lovely. Those who have been kind enough to drop food and drink, cards, gifts and letters, or donate to Isabel Hospice, or just to pop in for a chat to let us know you're there, if needed. Thank you doesn't do it justice, and I know that my dad would give you a massive hug if he could, to say thank you. I realised in writing this that the person I would have gone to for help would have been him. He would have told me to keep it short and sweet, start with a laugh and leave them thinking. I'll do as I'm told. God knows why. His speeches are exceptionally long, painfully unfunny and outrageously inappropriate. While I am here though, and I already I give my thanks and have your undivided attention, I might as well give my apologies to anyone who has to sit through one of his speeches, or worse, have been offended by them. I will learn from his mistakes in speech writing and will try my very best not to offend. Now for the hard bit. As I've said, many of you have reached out and shared your stories and memories you've made with my dad, some of which were lovely, others hilarious, so thank you for that. But the more stories and words said to me about my dad, the more I realised what you were all trying to say. You weren't just telling me how much you loved my dad, you were telling me how much you were loved by him. He had this ability to make people feel as though he were worthy of his time and that they truly mattered. His ability to love was also matched with his ability to help. If you needed something, he'd find a way to get it for you. Whether it was life advice, business help, or simply a listening ear, Chris Moore was your man. He was generous with his time, his joy, his compassion, and most importantly, his love. Each of us has a bit of it, a bit of Chris Moore's love to do with as we please. I am lucky enough to have a 24-year supply stored up that I promise to take into my life and the world and give it out generously as he would have wanted. We'll be sad, memories of him will be accompanied by tears and the stab of grief, but as life carries on, as it inevitably does, the memories will be followed by that feeling of love he gave us all. And we will count ourselves lucky to not just have known him, but to have been loved by the most wonderful man I have ever met. It would be very easy for me to be angry at him leaving, but I don't buy that, not for a second. Instead, I will say it was a pleasure to have known him, an honour to have shared the first 24 years of my life with him, and a sheer privilege to call him Dad. Thank you. A quick word of advice for anyone, don't go last when everyone's speaking. I'll try my best to get through this part. So hi everyone, for those who don't know me, I am Charlie. My dad's the least attractive son according to my brother. Firstly, thank you all for coming. I think it's overwhelming to see how many of you attended today, and I think it's testament to the amount of lives my dad has had a positive impact on. Whether you knew him by Dad, Uncle Chrissy, Morrow, or Nobhead, as my mum formerly knew him by, I know he'd be moved to see you all today, celebrating his life. Before today, I asked a few of you to provide me with 3 words that best describe my dad, and as you can imagine, there was a few consistent characteristics that came up. Instead of trying to give you back-to-back tear-jerking speeches, I wanted to share with you some stories and memories of how my dad epitomised his behaviours and carried them with him wherever he went. First word is flamboyant. For me, this sums up my dad perfectly. Whether it was embarrassing William and I at parent teaching evenings with his pink suit and cowboy hat, his white pimp suit and cane at my graduation, or wearing his sarong in the summer with no pants on. He would always leave a lasting impression on anyone who had the pleasure of meeting him. At first I thought these swanky outfits were a complete ploy to embarrass his sons or annoy my mum. But the older I grew, the more I realised that it was just him. A true sign of a big character who wanted to put a smile on people's faces, or to get all the attention. I'll leave that for you to decide. Kind. This was the most consistent theme that came through, and I can say confidently that nearly everyone in this room had benefited from his generous and giving nature. This makes me proud to call him Dad. He cared for everyone, and he was always happiest when he could help others, no matter how big or small the gesture. He was a great listener, and I know he was able to help a number of you through difficult moments, whether that was giving advice, whether that was giving advice or just going for a coffee with someone who needed a chat. He was always the first person I went to if I ever needed support. It's just a real shame that he wasn't able to give this same kindness to himself, as I have no doubt he'd be sitting here with bosses in hand if he had. Sometimes, however, this kindness could go a step too far. So much so that he nearly adopted an African family of 5 on his way back from Florence. I won't share the details now, but I'm sure many of you have heard the famous story.
Now, it wouldn't be a speech about Chris Moore if the word inappropriate wasn't included. There are too many stories I could share, but for the sake of time, I'll only share a few. Immediately, I know a few people in this room will be having flashbacks of a boric-light mankini. This is a revealing outfit it can get, in all honesty, but for some reason looked even more outrageous on a 20-stone middle-aged bloke. This didn't stop him getting it out more than one occasion until he caught himself in a pattern of having to return to the pub the next day to apologise for his behaviour the night before. As mentioned, there are a number of stories I could share from my child, but one particular memory stings out like a sore thumb. Dad used to collect his favourite movies and share them with Wheels and I on a weekly basis. Sunday Film Club, as it was formerly known by. However, I was rather shocked when one of the first movies he put on for us was Mississippi Burning. Going into this with little knowledge of the subject matter, I can safely say traumatised was the best word to describe Wheels and I after, especially given we were 10 and 13 at the time. When Roe joined the family, I was seriously expecting it to calm down slightly. But boy was I wrong when he started cracking anal jokes the first time Roe came for dinner. A great introduction to the family. His quirky nature continued even into the latter stages of his life. For those who had the privilege of seeing my dad in his final few months, you'd be no stranger to a conversation regarding my dad's ginormous balls. To provide a little bit of context, one of Dad's many symptoms was extreme swelling across his body, to the point where many body parts were blown up like a balloon. Eventually this led to my poor mum having to adjust and fondle them numerous times a day, to which he shared it was the most action he'd had in years, showing he always saw the funny side of any situation. God forbid what we would do if Mum had to pop out, but luckily we had Wheels on hand to have some experience. To close though, I wanted to share 3 words that were sent to me by Nikki, which I think epitomise my dad as a person, and that was life and soul. A lot of you may not know this, but my dad actually struggled for many years with his own issues. He won't want me saying this, but I think it's important to reflect on the fact that despite these challenges, he was still the charismatic, funny and brilliant man that we all saw him as. It's simply impossible to put into words how much we will miss him. Not only was he a great friend, you joining me, Pops? Not only was he a great friend, a supportive mentor, a slightly below average husband, but for me, he simply was the best dad anyone could ask for. And for that alone, I'd like to raise a toast. I haven't got my drink with me. To Chris. Thank you.